And then let that reset, and then take another round of those 4 parts to the breath. So belly, rib cage, back of the body, and the chest. If you want to take another round of 4 breaths, please do it. If it feels nice, do it. Otherwise, you can start to really slowly maneuver yourself so that your blocks or your bolsters are just out of the way. Lovely. And you just pop your hips down so they find a little bit of groundedness. Yes, lovely. In a minute, we're just going to link an inhale and exhale. So really simple, your choice of where you want to direct the breath. So if you want to direct the breath somewhere specifically, please do. Otherwise, just generally breathe. On an inhale, we're going to lift the hips up into bridge. But not only are the hips going to come up, our arms are going to come up. And we're going to come all the way on to our tiptoes. So our heels are going to lift. As we exhale, heels lower, arms lower, hips lower. Inhale, hips up, heels up, arms up. Exhale, heels, hips, arms. Yeah. If this feels like enough to be thinking about and you're kind of struggling a little bit with the breath, that's fine. If you want a little added dimension, that as you take your arms up, you can make little stars with your fingers. So spread the fingers wide as you inhale and the arms come up. And as you exhale and the arms come down, you can make little fists with your fingers. If you want, only if you've got a little bit of extra thinking space. You don't have to make it more complicated. Just do 3 more breaths, loads and loads of time, as if you're going in slow motion. So you're really finding that breath. You got cramp. Nice, I'm liking everything working together. Elaine, looks really lovely. And then once you've done that third one, and once again, don't let me rush you, you're in complete control. Stay up. So once you've done that third one, when you feel ready, just stay up, hips stay up. And you can choose where your arms go. You can choose whether the heels stay lifted or whether they ground. Yep. And then just see in this position a little bit more active if you can find those 4 places. If you can take an inhale and an exhale and allow the belly to move. Same thing with the sides of the ribs. Same thing as you breathe into the back. Same thing as you find the chest lift and lower. And then just do one last 4-part breath. So 4 more breaths directed into those 4 places: belly, sides of the ribs, back and chest. And whenever you feel that 4 rounds of breath has come to an end, you can really gently, really softly, really slowly let the hips reground. Come back to the earth, gratefully back to the earth. And then we're just going to take a little supine pigeon. So one ankle crosses and comes to rest on somewhere on top of the thigh. Yep. If this feels like enough sensation for you, stay there. Or you might decide to take the foot off of the floor and maybe thread one hand in between the legs and one hand on the outside. And I always take a little rock when I'm in pigeon. And if that takes your fancy too, go for it, yeah. So we just release a little bit. And you can find the other side when you feel like it's a good time to find it. Yeah, nice. And just stay in that rocking pigeon or that stationary pod pigeon, lovely. Just have it in your head that in a minute we'll just do a little bit of a warm up core. And remember that by the end of class we really do kind of have knackered our abdomen a little bit. So when we do this warm up through the core, that might affect how kind of hard you go on this warm up. You might decide just to take it really gentle. You might decide, I'm going to really go for it. Either way, it's totally your choice. When you feel ready, hands by your side, both legs somewhat straight and somewhat towards the sky, depending on how you feel hamstring wise. Yeah. Sit so. Head is down, both legs up, Louise, that's it. That's it. And then arms, if you can, out to a T. Now, Louise and Ruby, you might not have space for a T because you'll end up whacking each other in the face. Or you can stagger your arms, maybe. Or yeah, that's lovely. Or you can do absolutely cactus. Yep. Yep. And then all we're going to do is we're going to lower the right leg somewhat towards the ground. And then lift the right leg somewhat towards the sky. Nice. And then keeping the legs straight, and it's up to us the degree of lowering we do. We're going to move both the legs towards the left. And then back to center. So the lower you go, the more you're going to have to really start using the core. So you're in complete control of how far you want to go. And then we're back to the start. Back to the start. Both legs, that's it. I love how some of you are getting really excited about those twists. Left leg comes down to the ground or just hovers off of the ground. Left leg comes back up and meets its friend, the right leg. As we exhale, both legs go towards the right. And try and squeeze the left shoulder down. Try not to let that left shoulder lift. And then pop both feet back into neutral. Legs up to the sky again. Same again, other side. Exhale, right leg comes closer to the ground. Inhale, lifts back up. Really nice. Exhale, you take your depth, your choice of depth towards the left. Oh, right shoulder stays down there. Really ground it. Don't let it pop up. Wait for your next exhale and use that to draw yourselves back up to neutral. Really lovely. Whenever you find your next exhale, same again, other side. Yeah. That's it. That's it. And once you feel even on both sides, if it feels a little bit squiffy on your back, have a little rest. Omit. You can always bend your knees as well. So if you feel that your back is kind of pulling, you can, when you do those twists, you can bend your knees and it'll be less of a lever. It feels nicer. And then whenever you're done with them, sometime around now, you can just pop the feet onto the floor, take the feet a little bit wider than your mat, and then just twist and windscreen wiper the legs out. Yeah, just an easy release. An easy release. And then pop arm up to tabletop to cat-cow. And especially if you're planning to do all of those planks on your hands, I'll encourage you to do a variety of different planks, but especially if you're thinking about using your hands a lot, just allow the palms to get used to bearing weight a little bit. Yep. And you might go really quite slow with this. You might kind of go full on, just pop all the weight going through. And then just notice what happens if you pop or keep the palms where they are, but externally rotate the shoulders. So the insides of the elbows come a little bit forward, and you should feel that ripple effect happen on your shoulder blades. That might give you a sense of really having stability through your shoulder girdle. I said gurgle then. What I meant was girdle. I don't know what shoulder gurgle is. Who knows? Okay. If you haven't already kind of changed the position of your hands, maybe try that. Just make sure that the hands feel like they're good to go. I know that at any point we can rest and we can change our mind. Yep. You might even just be on your fingertips for a couple of minutes, just warming up through the forearms, especially if we're planning to do any hops or anything like that. It's always a good thing to do. Yes. Lovely. And then take your time to come into down dog. Take time. When you get into down dog, if your body is asking you to do any weird stuff in down dog, go for it, let loose. That might be head shakes, that might be mouth opens, that might be knee bends, that might be taking your foot and lifting it and popping it on the opposite ankle to try and draw the, and that you'll often find that just releases the calf. Oh, I heard other way actually, Jem. So actually that's not necessarily a bad thing, but what I was meaning is if you take one foot and kind of set it on the other ankle, it just draws that calf down. So you kind of push. Either way, start to come a little bit into quiet, a little bit into stillness. And then allow your eyes to look forward. And as you exhale, travel forward. Really nice. Just 2 half sun salutes, but we're going to add a little bit of a side stretch. So just have it in your head in a minute that we're going to take a side stretch. As we inhale, lift up, flat back. Really nice. Nice. Beautiful. Lovely, Orla. Looks good. Ruby, come up a little bit more so your shoulders, that's it, really nice. And pop your hands into prayer. That's it, and push them together so you can really feel your core. Yeah. Whenever you exhale, bend the knees, chair pose. Nice, Utkatasana. Nice, Jem, that's good. Nice, Elaine. Find the feet. We're going to really, really need them. Find them now. Push into them. Feel that ripple as you lift all the way up. I've got to be here for this, yes. And then exhale, hands anywhere on the body. Anywhere on the body. Yeah. This is going to be different. As we inhale, we take the arms up. We're going for comfort here. As we exhale, side stretch to the right. And even though we can go more of a stretch, just go for comfort. So stay somewhere that you feel like you could hold for a good couple of minutes without too much shaking or, that's it. And I'll just see if you can dive a little bit lower in that side stretch. But keep that same breath, that really smooth breath. And then last little bit, a little bit lower. Push into the opposite leg. So the opposite leg to your hands. And then take a full inhale. And as you exhale, drop down, forward fold. Yep. Or when you drop into your forward folds, if you keep your head slightly above your hips, you should be all right. So it's more of like a flat back, but a lower flat back, if that makes sense. If forward folds are feeling fine, then go ahead. It's just an option. Whenever you next inhale, lift all the way up. Once again, flat back. We're feeling the weight on our tiptoes. Oh, yeah. Exhale, chair. Arms might graze the ears, maybe. Push through the feet, find them. Lift all the way up. And then hands rest somewhere on the body, or maybe even somewhere on the head. Inhale as we lift up. And then that side stretch towards the other side. Exhale towards the left. And again, we've got this comfort. It might even feel quite nice. There's very little effort. We can really find the breath. And then take another little dive. So we're starting to feel a little bit more activation through the sides of the waist. Push the opposite foot into the floor. And then take your last third. Arms stay high, they stay by the ears. Big inhale. And then let your exhale dive you way down. Forward fold. Yeah, we're just doing those two, just those two. Inhale as we pause and do nothing. Exhale, step your right leg back into crescent lunge. Right leg back, right knee up. Perfect. Straight in. I don't know what's going on. Straight in. This bodes really well for our balance segment. Into warrior 3, half moon, warrior 3. So it's all about hip stability. You might want to shorten up your stance. You might want to have a block towards the left-hand side for half moon. Maybe. I'm going to do it floating because I've got a little bit more control of the length, the depth of my hips. Wait for an inhale to come and circulate. That's it. And then exhale, warrior 3. Arms wherever you need them, doesn't matter. That's it. Inhale as we pause. Exhale, we open up the hips, half moon. Inhale as we pause. Exhale, roll the hips slowly so that everything's facing the floor. That's it. Nice. Inhale to pause. And then step a long way back. Long way back. Yes. Once you're there, a little bit longer. As long as you don't feel like your thigh muscle's going to burst. And we're going to stay here for 5 breaths. We're in crescent lunge. Arms can be wherever we want. Front knee, a little bit more bent. You might pop your hands on that front thigh. Yes. 3 more breaths. So we've taken a longer... How are you yawning, Louise? That's how strong you are. You yawn in the crescent lunge. Last breath. And then pop the hands down. Either tabletop or down dog, wherever you've chosen to be. Reconnect to those 4 breaths. So inhale and then exhale to the belly. Same to the ribs. Same to the back. Same to the chest. And then wherever you are, we're all going to meet in tabletop once we've finished. And then from tabletop, once we're all there, we're going to start together so that we don't have to do a really long hold plank. Yep, loads of time. Okay, so our first 1 minute 10 plank. Wherever you want to be, I'm going to be in my forearms to start. And we're there already. So that's our first plank. So have a little check-in with the feet. You might decide they want to be a little bit wider. If you do that and you feel less powerful, then of course you can slide them closer together. And then maybe change the angle of the arms. So take the wrists slightly in front of the shoulders, or maybe just underneath the shoulders, and see where you feel happiest. And then if you put some weight through the little toe sides of the foot, How does that feel? And then if you pour some weight through the big toe, how does that feel? And then if you take some big breaths, really good. Nice Louise W, really good Ruby, lovely. Just 15 seconds, that's it. We've done a minute, pretty much. Already done. You might decide to rock the weight a little bit. You might decide to ease the head. 3, 2, 1. Rest, rest, proper rest, proper rest, proper rest. Yep. If you have decided to rest on your belly as you take breath, you might feel that really lovely sensation of breath moving underneath you. Oh, 3 more lovely breaths before we're going to chaturanga down. Last breath. And then come all the way back up. Hands on the mat, knees on the mat. Yeah. So it's a knees down plank. We're ready for chaturanga. Set the shoulders down, so there's a real sense of bringing them down your back and drawing them together. And then bend the elbows. And then lower down slowly. Yeah. You can take as long as you want. When you get there, maybe Sphinx is the ticket. You might come a little bit higher, maybe a halfway cobra. A back bend that does it for you. Yep. Ooh. Still thinks we're doing a plank. The timer was still going, it just rang the bell. Lovely. And then push back, down dog. From down dog, a couple of choices. We either send the weight all the way back, so we push into the feet so that our heels come as close to the ground as possible. And then from there, bend and straighten the legs. If your knees say you can bugger off when you do that. Same thing, lean the weight back, but then lift and lower the heels. So you're either leaning back, bending and straightening the legs, or you're leaning back, lifting and lowering the heels. If that doesn't feel right today, you can be in tabletop. And then from tabletop, you can lean back, hips to the heels, that's it. And then come up into tabletop. And then lean back again. Yeah, really nice. Whatever you've chosen to do, take 2 more slow, steady movements. Lovely. And then a couple of options. You can walk yourself slow and small steps to the front of your mat. We're kind of primed to take a jump, so you might decide that you're going to jump forward. You might decide to take a little hop forward first and then maybe a jump. So you're either taking a little bit of time in forward fold, you're having a little bit of jumping times, whatever you choose. Okay. From here, inhale, come all the way back, flat back. As we exhale, we take solace in our sun salute. Inhale, press through, lift. Exhale, hands somewhere on the body. Somewhere on the body, wherever you want. Belly, chest. Inhale. And then this one, just normal exhale, forward fold. Yeah. Inhale, do nothing. As you exhale, left leg comes all the way back, left knee up. Yeah, high lunge. Really nice. Take your time only when you feel steady. So that might require a little bit of foot movement. When you feel ready, maybe you pop your block towards your right hand side. Yeah. You don't have to. Wait for the inhale to fill. Let the exhale move you. Warrior 3. Inhale as we pause. Exhale as we open up the hips. Inhale as we pause. Exhale, close the hip. So we're rolling on that joint. Inhale as we pause. Long, deep exhale so we can step that foot way, 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 way back. Long, 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 long lunge. If you're not satisfied with the length, you might wiggle that back foot. As long as the front foot stays bent, and as long as there's no pinching through the spine, go as long as it feels comfortable. Maybe hands can come down. Yes. 4 more breaths. Last breath. And then gratefully drop your hands either down dog, maybe on your fingertips, maybe on your palms, maybe tabletop. Either way, 4 breaths. You might even decide just to sit and take those 4 breaths in a really comfortable place. Yeah, all of those are valid options. When those 4 breaths are done, come and rest in tabletop and we'll wait to start plank together. Yep. Lovely. Okay. One little thing, if plank isn't for you today, you can of course thread the needle on both sides. Okay, find your way into plank, forearms or not forearms. It's a second plank. So see how the body feels. Does it need to change position again? You might decide again to widen the feet. I like to do little rocks. So like almost little kind of tiny shakes in my body. Seems to work really well for me. And don't forget to ease the head. Sometimes the head and the neck feels a little bit constrained. So if you move it, it feels a little bit softer. And then just notice if there's somewhere in your foot that's not taking some of the weight. Can you roll the feet a little bit so it feels even? Are you pressing the earth away with your arms? And then are you breathing? And I know it's really hot. I know the body feels really like it wants to not do this, but stay with it. Knowing we've got 5 seconds left. Really nice, Elaine, lovely. 1, 0. Oh. Oh, breath. Proper rest. Proper rest. Again, if you're on your belly, you might feel that flood of breath. As it comes in, it pushes against the floor. Take another full round of breath, really, really using it just to restore. You might decide that you want to stay where you are and omit that chaturanga. Perfectly fine. Otherwise, you come back up. Knee down plank. Yes, oh, lovely. From knee down, drop the shoulders. So really draw the shoulder blades down a little bit together and then just the elbows bend. Spine does not move. Really nice. And then you're back on your belly. Once again, your choice of back bend. Sphinx is lovely. It is lovely. If you want a little bit more active, hands come closer to your chest. You push into your fingers, roll the shoulders down, and lift a little bit up. Yeah, cobra. Even in cobra, you can find a little bit of softness, a little bit of sway. Last breath. And then drop down. Whenever you next exhale, tuck the toes, push, down dog. And then once again, your choice. Either the knees are bending, the heels are lifting and lowering, or you're in tabletop, and then you push the hips onto the heels. Yeah, your choice. Only thing to remember is to use the breath. Just do 2 more there. Once you've done those 2, you might decide, do you want that slow, really lovely walk towards the top of your mat? Do you fancy a little hop and then a jump? Do you fancy just a jump, just a hop? Yes. And then forward fold. Press through the feet. Yes, really nice. Press through the feet. Lift all the way up this time, all the way up. Samastitihi, standing salute. And then just drop the hands in mountain. And as we stand for the first time in a while, just have a little check-in. So we've activated quite a lot of some of the big kind of structural muscles in the body. And if you close your eyes, how does the body feel as a whole? Are there any parts that feel like they need a little bit of a rest or they need a massage? And you might just gently decide just to take your hands to a couple of areas before we continue. And when you're ready, same thing, forward fold, head drops. As we exhale, right leg comes back. Brilliant. Inhale, high lunge. Exhale, we start to lean forward, warrior 3. Inhale as we pause. Exhale, open up the hip, half moon. Inhale to pause. Exhale, drop the hip. That's it. You got it. Warrior 3. Perfect. Inhale. Use your exhale to take a long travel back. Yes. And then you might decide to maneuver that back foot. Front knee stays bent. Back glute is active. 5 breaths. Long hold. Yep. Maybe that front foot doesn't feel that there's enough weight there, so you might decide just to put some weight through the big toe of that front foot so that it feels like the spread is a little bit more even. Last 2 breaths. And then pop the hands down. Exhale, decide where you want those 4 breaths to be. Down dog, tabletop, seated. Either way, breath to the belly, to the ribs, to the back and to the chest. 4 full breaths. Once those 4 breaths are done, you can come and rest in tabletop if you're not already there. And then a 3rd plank. And it might be time to omit. It might be time to change hands. So you might decide to be on your palms rather than your forearms. We're going to start in 1 second. Okay, 3rd plank of the night. So have a little check-in with the body as a whole. Is there anywhere that feels like you need an adjustment? Would that be hands or fingers? Does it feel like you need to turn out the shoulders a little bit? How are the feet feeling? Can you feel the tuck or the untuck of your hips? Really nice. And once again, you might change the positioning of the feet. And the breath still comes to you. So even though we're working, the breath is still there. The body's starting to get a little bit hotter. Really nice. Just 10 seconds left. Just 10 seconds. 5, 3, knees down. Proper rest. Proper rest. That might mean to thread the needle, that might be crocodile, that might be rolling onto your back. Take a couple more breaths, and we're not going to do chaturanga. We're just going to come straight to our back bend. You might already be in a back bend and think, great, we're already in the perfect place. You might decide to lay on your belly, bend the elbows, and take hold of the elbows with your palms and just rest your head in crocodile. Otherwise, any of those back bends that we've done this evening, in Sphinx, in Cobra, in Locust. Well, the third one is definitely the worst one. Okay. If your hands aren't already underneath your shoulders, you can pop them there. Toes are tucked and powerful, shoulders drawn back. Deep exhale, push the earth away. Down dog. Brilliant. From here, just two, whatever you're doing. 2 tabletops into child's, 2 knee bends, 2 lifts. Yeah. And then you might decide to do 2 or 3 hops. Maybe. Yeah, and as usual, after all those planks, just go a little bit easier because you'll normally feel really integrated. Once you've done those 2 or 3 hops, you can come and walk to the front of your mat and then lift up. And once again, restart that. Yeah. Just have a little check-in. Yeah. Does it need stillness in the body, or do you feel like you need to have a little move? Is there somewhere specifically that needs a little bit of a massage? Or do you feel pretty all right? Pretty all right. The really great news is this is the last round of this flow. It gets easier from here. Once you've eased the body and you feel ready, take a little bit of solace in your forward fold. Whenever you exhale, left leg steps back, that long lunge. Brilliant. Yep, plenty of time. From your high lunge, start to take your weight forward and lift up, warrior 3. You might take a little bit more time than usual together, that's fine. Whenever we next exhale, we open the hips up, half moon. Inhale as we pause. Exhale, turn the hips to face the earth, warrior 3. Inhale as we pause, really nice. Lovely, Louise. And then exhale, long step back. Yes, that long held crescent lunge. Front knee bends a lot. Back glute, if it feels like it's having a little bit of a holiday, just say, hey, can you just take a little bit of the weight? And it might say no. But it might say yes. Maybe. And then same thing, do the feet feel like they're taking some weight? Does it feel like that front foot is a little bit lighter than the back, or vice versa? Can you even out the weight of the body? Yes, looks really good. Nice, Jen, it's really lovely. Nice, Kay. And then as you exhale, find your way into either down dog, tabletop, or a seat. 4 breaths. Really fill, really fill, because you know where we're going. Use the breaths. Whenever that 4th breath is completed, if you're not already dropping onto your tabletop, please do. And then once we're all here, yeah. And it might be fourth one. Maybe we decide to be on our knees. Who knows? We're going to start in 2 seconds. 2, 1. We're back in. Last one. Just think how quickly those other 3 actually went, and how there's not even really a residual kind of feeling. So this feeling that we've got now is really pretty specific to this. As soon as we're done, that feeling goes. Unlike most stuff in life. So again, see if you can ask the floor to help. So you push the floor a little bit away and you feel that rebound. Do the same with your feet. Maybe squeeze the thighs a little bit in. Yep. You might ease the head. A little shake from side to side. Really good. We're so close to being done. So close. Let the breath come in and out. Just 10, 8, 6, 4, 3, 2, 1. Proper rest. Proper rest. Belly is warm. Body is warm. We're okay. You might just decide to grab a block and rest your forehead and your eye sockets on the block and just have 4 or 5 breaths. Just being here. Just here. Last 2 breaths. Maybe you decide to come up however you want to come up. So maybe it's more of a kind of however you come up to down dog as opposed to something pretty. Yeah, who cares? At this point, who cares? And you might again decide that you want to do those 2 knee or heel lifts, or you might decide, no, I'm fine not to. You might decide to walk to the front of your mat. You might decide to have a little hop. Yeah, time for whatever you want. Really nice. Nice hop, Louise W. Can you straighten out the floating? Yes, and do it from the hip. Miles better, really nice. And then you can walk yourself forward and then come to stand gently. Ooh. Eyes open or eyes closed. Just have a really soft little sway, a little twist from side to side. And as we move, you can decide now whether you're done with the jumping, you're done with the extra curriculum work, and you can do the same flow that we're going to do without the jump. Or you might be thinking, oh, I feel quite bouncy. I think I might continue with some jumps. And you can change your mind. It's not like a form that you filled out that you have to stick to. When you feel ready, make your way into goddess. So you're facing the long edge of your mat. Feet are a little bit turned out. Knees are bent. We'll just do one together without the jumping, and then we'll add the jump if you want to. We come into goddess. Brilliant, nice, nice. Butt sticks out as if we're going to sit. Maybe hips are a little bit lower, who knows? Perfect. And then we straighten up. We turn a little bit towards the front of the mat. So the front foot is facing the front of the mat. The back foot is a little bit diagonal. So we're in warrior 2 feet position. And then we reverse warrior. So just a nice opening up are those sides of the waist, serratus anterior, that we've really worked in those planks. From here, we continue that turning. So now we turn the back foot so that it's facing forward. Perfect. And then we work with that half moon that we've just been doing. We travel forward, hand either on floor, block, or shin. Top arm wherever it feels comfortable. Once we feel stable, belly stays active, we can start to turn the head slowly. And it might come to face the wall, it might come to face the ceiling. And then just goddess, just goddess. I know half moon, even half moon with none of the crap is really tricky. So as soon as we start to move that 4 kilos of head and brain, life gets really troublesome. All right, so even if you fall out, even if you wobble, that's part of it. Goddess when you're ready. Your option is to take a little jump. Yes, it's there, maybe we take it. We do that half turn, front foot comes to the top edge, back foot is slightly diagonal, and we enjoy life in reverse warrior, side of the waist really open, that's it. We take our arms and our back foot to face the long edge of, the short edge of the mat, and we might now decide to swap our legs. So that might be a little walk, that might be a jump up and a quick karate chop, nice K, that nice, lovely Elaine. It might have gone as well as mine did. I was a little bit better, all right? And then find your balance, half moon. And then head comes and turns somewhat. Nice, Ruby, really nice. And then landing goddess. Landing goddess, perfect. Hopefully we've done half moon on the same leg. If you haven't, don't worry. Just remember how many times you've done it on which leg, so that when we come to do the other side, you're even. Last round on this side. Goddess either static, or as we exhale, we take a jump. Oh, as we inhale, we start to take that quarter turn forward, front leg facing the short edge, back leg diagonal. As we exhale, arm up and over, reverse. Inhale, back toe turns to the front. We're back into that little lunge. And then decide, maybe we take a swap. Yes. And again, just remember how many times you've done on each leg. Just remember, and it's not the end of the world. Once you've got your balance, lean forward, lift up, hand somewhere. Only when you feel steady, only when foot is connected, eyes are connected, belly's lifted, you can start to turn the head slowly round to the ceiling, towards, not necessarily there, that's it. And then just goddess. Oh, okay, have a little reset. So what we want to do is do the other side. So hopefully we've done 3 on one side, but you might have kind of mixed and matched, which is fine. So when we now come into our reverse, I'm going to be facing the back edge of my mat, so that I then do exactly the same opposite. If that freaks you out, looking at something different, you can always turn to face the other long edge of your mat so that you can still see my butt. It gives you comfort. Elaine smiling. Yes, good. Good. I was hoping there was some laughs. Same again, 3 little flows. We find our way into goddess, and the option is to jump as soon as we feel ready. Yes, really nice. We do that quarter turn as we inhale. As we exhale, reverse warrior. As we inhale, another quarter turn, that back foot finds its way to the front. Again, your choice. We might take a little step. We might decide to push down to lift up. Hopefully we're on the other side leg. We start to lean forward, find our way into half moon. Sorry if you can hear that motorbike. Once you feel stability in half moon, you can start to turn the head really slowly. Really slowly. Yep, I fell out as well. Yep. And then just goddess. Just goddess. Yeah, nice. You might hold goddess, you might jump. My knees feel like they don't want to jump anymore. But I really want to, but I'm not going to. From goddess, that quarter turn. Yes. As you exhale, reverse warrior, side of the ribs really expanded. Take the arms and the back foot turn to the front. And again, maybe a little travel forward. Maybe a jump forward. Absolutely, yeah. You can always check in and change your mind. Nice. And then come forward. Make your way into half moon. Find your balance. Yes. And then start to turn the head. So it's trickier. You have to navigate more. Really nice. Lovely landing. Really, really lovely. Last one, goddess. Last one. Jump or a hold. Yeah, go easy on those knees. And then a little quarter turn, a little subtle quarter turn as you inhale. And then a lovely big reversed warrior. And then another little turn as you face, everything faces forward. Really good, nice. And then choice. Do you want to jump? Do you feel? Yes, Louise S, so great, perfect. I mean, I was obviously your inspiration, clearly. And then your last half moon, loads of time, do it slow. Nice, yeah. Loving the transition from warrior 3 to half moon, why not? No one to impress. Just having a little check-in. And then gently, goddess, gently, gently, so good. They were brilliant, so good. And then in your goddess, straighten up the legs. Maybe you take your block so you can rest your hands on it. Yep. Couple of options here, couple of options. You have done absolutely a shed ton of really intense, really skillful asana. So it'd make complete sense just to rest here, head hanging, arms resting, shoulders releasing. However, I don't want to hold you back if you feel ready to go like a coiled spring, and you either want to have a little practice of hopping, or if you've been practicing against the wall, you think, well, I'm good to go. Right, so I'm literally going to give you about a minute and a half of doing whatever you want, either forward, wide leg forward fold. You're either having a little hop, maybe hands down in down dog, and you're trying to get a little bit more lifted, or if you've got a wall, just against the wall, just getting used to against the wall. And I know some of us are not quite getting against the wall, some of us are against the wall. It's one of those things that took me a long time to get the power to get up against the wall. For a long time I was just kicking and just dropping back down. But entirely your choice. Yes. So arms stay, yeah, nice, Louise. Arms stay pressing into the ground. So they're really, Louise W, yeah. So they're really active. Yes. Yeah, you're knackered, aren't you? Like, no, sorry. I thought it was a good idea, but now I'm knackered. All right, nice. So 30 seconds if we want it. That floating leg, really lift and lower it. It's like a Think of it like as a guillotine, but not a scary guillotine. I'll have to find a better image for that, won't I? Last couple of seconds. Oh. And if you're already thinking about making your way into some of our restorative asanas, you can bring the soles of the feet together, knees wide. Cobbler's pose, yeah. And from here, notice that you can see the soles of your feet, you can see your toes, you can see all those kind of hard bits of skin. And just think how much work your feet have done, how much navigating of the floor as we moved our body around that one foot, that one tiny surface area, as our whole body moved all the way around. And it might be that as you kind of look at your feet, they take on a little bit of a deeper significance, and you might decide to give them a little massage, maybe. If they're a bit sweaty, it might not be the best idea. Mine are quite sweaty. And as you kind of massage, maybe thumbs are doing the soft underbelly of the foot, and maybe hands, fingers are doing the tops of the feet. You might notice that as you move the skin around, there's some little sore bits. And they carry you around all day. And at some point, you can do that for as long as you wish. If you're ready to move on, you can cross the legs. And then we're going to again find relief for the serratus anterior. So that's the side of your waist. And often when we do quite a lot of planks, that's a muscle that really has to bear quite a lot of structural weight. So as you forward fold, you might then move towards the side. So it's a forward fold and a side stretch. So you can come forward and then you can move your bit by bit if you want to. Your head can drape. Yes. And you can come to the other side when you feel, yeah, bit by bit. Maybe on your fingertips, you might find that one side feels really different. One side feels a little bit didn't finish the sentence, but hopefully you'll finish it for me. And then you can walk your hands back into center. If your head's been tucked, you could gently untuck it as you lift yourself up. Brilliant. Have a little slow shoulder circle just to check in with anything that feels like it might need a little bit more attention. If you feel it's quite shouldery at the minute, you might decide to take a really nice standard shoulder stretch. You might prefer to take a little trap stretch, leaning your head to one side, drawing the arm that's furthest away from the head up, and then gently allowing the weight of the arm to really slowly stretch out that line. And not forgetting wrists and fingers as well. So as you're doing that little trap stretch, if you move your wrists, make little stop signs the other way, Jen, as well. See how that feels? Like, oh, that's weird, isn't it? Yeah, I know. Yes. Oh, I'm going to nick that, Elaine. Right, it's happening, definitely. If you haven't done the other side for your shoulder or the traps, go for it. When you feel both sides are even, take the arms up. And as they get up, we're going to simply roll the wrists round in circles as we draw the arms down. Yeah, haven't done that for ages. Thank you, Elaine. And then we might take the wrists in the opposite direction as we take them back up. And then back down. You can do as many as those as you wish. At some point, we come to properly rest. So we can roll onto our backs. Our head is on the floor. You might briefly take your fingers towards the temples. You might have a little explore of the eyebrows and the eye sockets. Yeah. And then we've got about a minute. And then we're coming into our 4-part breath. So a minute of moving, or maybe a minute of stillness. You might decide to take a little bit of more of a static twist. You might decide to bring the knees into the chest, bring your head up to your knees and have like a little curl. You might think a long, deep, full body stretch is going to suit you better. You've got about another 30 seconds. If you've only just moved yourself onto the other side, just stay there for a little bit longer. You're not going to miss anything. If and when you feel ready to come into the breath practice, you can just very, very gently, really slowly make your way to one of 2 positions, either staying on your back in Shavasana. And I know I say this every week, but this has got lovely benefits because it's the least amount of muscular action to keep you where you are. Just keep that shape, which means that you've got the most amount of ability to fill the space with breath. However, sitting upright with the spinal cord really free has really lovely benefits for the Shaktis and for the chakras. And once you think that you've chosen what's going to work most for you this evening, really easy, really simple, we're going to keep taking those 4 breaths. Belly, ribs, into the back, into the chest. If you find your mind goes elsewhere other than those 4 breath places, just draw it back. Just remember and draw it back. Giving your brain a little break, your thoughts a little break. And I'll come and get you in 4 minutes. only when you start to feel ready, and only in your own time, you can have a little move. You might gently move your head from side to side, and maybe the shoulders might find the earth or find circles. You might squeeze the toes and then star them. Or at some point there's probably a little stretch going on, as if you've just woken up from a really lovely sleep. Yay. And then when you can bear it, inhale and let it lift you up if you're not already there. From there, arms come wide and high. As you exhale, they drop down by your side. Inhale as they lift. Exhale as they drop. Inhale, left and right sides meet, all sparked. Draw it into your heart center. Namaste. Oh, namaste. I kept you a little bit longer. I hope that's all right. It's just gone 32. I'm going to turn off the recording now, so sorry for the really loud super